Hey folks, Cool18 here, and welcome to another Gamescom Minute here in beautiful Cologne, Germany at Gamescom 2014, one of the largest gaming conventions in the world. And today we're going to talk about Civilization Beyond Earth, which I think is fair to say that if you're like me, you're incredibly excited about this game. It promises to be basically sort of a revival of Alpha Centauri, only, without the brand name. Let's not sugarcoat it. That's kind of what's going on there. And it looks great. It's based heavily on the Civilization 5 engines. We're talking about hexes, 1 unit per tile, all that kind of good stuff. And a really interesting thing about a non-symmetrical kind of AI opponent. The AIs that you're going to be against don't follow the exact same rules that you do in a very different way than we've ever seen in something from the Civilization franchise. And I think it promises to be really interesting. Hopefully it's going to be awesome. Anyway, stay tuned. Watch some trailers, some screenshots, a little bit of gameplay footage while I give you some additional information that I got on some one-on-one interviews with the lead designer of the game. Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth is a turn-based 4X strategy game in the Civilization series. It'll feel familiar to anyone who's played Civ 5 since both the titles share similar mechanics, but it's the obvious spiritual successor to Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri, even if Firaxis wasn't able to use the name. In typical Civilization titles, you live humanity's past, and Beyond Earth you're shaping the future of mankind as they colonize a new planet. Like in most Civilization titles, you will settle cities, improve the land, research technologies, take part in diplomacy with other factions, and when that fails, build armies and go to war. However, there are several areas in which Beyond Earth differs substantially from your typical Civ experience. First of all, the factions. Beyond Earth will ship with 8 playable factions, but in fact there's going to be a lot more variety in your starting circumstances than you might imagine based on that number. In addition to choosing a sponsor faction like Brasilia, Franco-Iberia, or the American Reclamation Corporation, you then need to choose your initial colonists, such as scientists, artists, or engineers, which can give you bonus research, culture, or production. Then you can choose which cargo you'll have when you land on the planet, which will grant you things like extra population, a free building, military unit, or even a worker. Finally, you can choose the characteristics of the spaceship itself that's carrying you to a new planet. This can give you something like a larger vision radius to pick your landing spot, and your landing spot is where your first city will be founded. Or you can have the ability to see the outline of all land masses, or even the ability to see advanced strategic resources before you have the normal technology. I mean, imagine starting a game of Civ 5 where you already knew where all the iron, oil, uranium, and whatnot would be in the world. That's a pretty big bonus. There's a new system called Virtues. This will work similarly to the social policies in Civ 5. But in Civ 5, the policy trees were relatively small, and you were really encouraged to always finish one policy tree before starting a new one. In Beyond Earth, the virtue trees are quite a bit bigger, although there are fewer categories overall. And additionally, the trees are divided into tiers, for example, level 1, 2, and 3. All the trees also get these additional bonuses as you complete more of them. For example, if you unlock a certain number of policies in a certain tree, you might get something like a 10% science boost or a free spy, for example. But in Beyond Earth, you can also go wide and spread out your virtues in multiple trees, and you're not punished for it, because if you unlock a certain number of virtues in a particular tier, then you get some additional bonuses, like getting a free virtue. So you can really sort of spread things around a little bit. You get a lot more flexibility in how you progress through your virtues in Beyond Earth than how you progress through social policies in Civ 5. The other big feature of Beyond Earth are the affinities. Basically, as you research technologies and complete the mini-quests that happen during gameplay, you can earn points towards one of the 3 affinities, purity, supremacy, and harmony. Each one provides various bonuses, and in the early game you might find yourself dabbling in technologies and bonuses belonging to multiple different affinities, though as you come to the mid or late game, it'll often be beneficial for you to specialize in a particular area that works best with whatever your desired victory condition might be. Affinities change a lot about gameplay, including they give you extra weight to certain strategic resources, because various affinities might give you different bonuses on particular resources. Like, one might give you bonus energy, but another one might, for the same resource, give you bonus culture instead. The purity affinity centers more around the idea that humans need to stay exactly as they are. Rather than change ourselves, we will forcibly terraform the world to build kind of an Earth 2 on top of it. And that involves a lot of really powerful land improvement, terrain improvements that we can sustain a little bit better than some of the other affinities. And when it comes to units, their strategy is mostly put more guns on things. It's all about raw power. The supremacy affinity, on the other hand, believes that they need to be kind of agnostic about the planet and the environment that they're on. They're going to use technology and cybernetics to rise above the issues of the environment and kind of become immune to its difficulties. It's more of a finesse approach, including in the units, which involve a lot of sort of positional synergy bonuses, that sort of thing when they're clustered up. So formations are going to be really important for them. And then finally, you've got the harmony affinity, and they believe that we should kind of alter ourselves to become a part of the new planet. They'll use genetic manipulation of the human biology to kind of become integrated to the planet itself. It's all about leveraging the environment, not changing it. Even the sort of miasma on the planet, which is normally quite bad for you, can become good for you, just like it is for the alien life forms. And actually, you can start kind of raising your own alien units there. All the different affinities also come with some unique units as well. You get unique units from affinities rather than from your starting faction, for example. Now, finally, one of the biggest differences between your sort of typical civilization and Beyond Earth is that there's a tech web instead of a tech tree. In regular civilization, it makes sense that, say, gunpowder gets discovered roughly the same time every game, because we're trying to mirror the progression of a kind of a real-world technology. But when it comes to future tech, we can only guess at the order that we'll discover things in. So the tech web allows you to carve your own path through the various branch technologies available in the game. Branch technologies are relatively general and pretty easy to research, apparently, but each one also connects to a handful of leaf techs. These leaf techs don't unlock further technologies, but they tend to offer more specialized buildings, units, and other bonuses. These leaf technologies are also the most common way to earn points towards affinities. The upshot of all this is that, unlike a standard civilization game, you'll be researching different technologies in completely different orders every time you play Beyond Earth, and you'll often be skipping many of the leaf techs as well if they don't really mesh with your affinity and your goal, meaning that the further you get into the game, the more different each faction will play. But actually, Beyond Earth actually breaks faction symmetry even more than that. Unlike other sort of 4X kind of games like this, the factions don't all start on even footing or even at the same time. The other factions will actually be landing on planet after you, some quite a bit later actually, and the later a faction arrives on the planet, the more unique and powerful bonuses they get. That means that every time you play, you'll get a radically different experience of what it means to fight against, say, the Slavic Federation, because if they start closer to you, then they're going to be similar in power, but they're going to also get a decent amount of opportunity to expand. But if they start later, they may not get as much of a chance to expand, but they might have much more powerful bonuses to balance it out, so it's going to feel quite a bit different. And actually, speaking of factions, it'd be a mistake to not talk about the alien life forms that inhabit the planet. They fill a role similar to, say, like barbarians in a classic civilization game, but it's going to be a lot more than that. While barbarians are only an issue at the start of the game, and then they sort of fade off, the alien life forms may be something you have to contend with throughout the entirety of the game. They even act a little bit like their own factions, and will have opinions about you and the other factions. How much they dislike you will depend greatly on what choices you make in Beyond Earth. Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth will be released globally on October 24th, 2014, and it will be coming to Windows, OS X, and Linux. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.